Good afternoon, YouTube. This is Crypto Jay from the Bitcoin Academy, and just wanted to welcome you guys to another one of our educational videos. We have a private community at cryptoj.net. Please check us out. I think you'll like what you see there. Everything we have is on heavy discount this month, so hope you guys will come over and check us out. I've been doing this for 21 years full time. And in addition to that, I've been into crypto for 7 years. So we've helped a lot of folks around the world, and we're looking to help you as well. If you enjoy this short educational video today, please subscribe and like so other people can find our channel along the line in YouTube. Thanks so much, and welcome to our channel.
We're going to talk money today. And I think the way I'm going to talk about it, I think it's a pertinent topic, because one of the things that I'm constantly wanting to get you guys ready for is taking your profits, and then I hope we've done a good job, and I hope that you have taken responsibility for your life and also done a good job to kind of know some things to go do with that money. And you know, a lot of people, they say, oh, I'm going to invest in real estate. And, you know, that just sounds like a really cool thing to say, right? I'm going to go invest in real estate. And I don't have Paul and his partner, Dustin, on today, but I'm sure they would tell you that it's taken them, you know, 20 or 25 years to build quite a nice portfolio of real estate that really gives them, you know, a nice multiple six-figure income for what they have to do. But I just want to dive a little deeper into, oh, I'm going to invest in real estate. I think that while you guys are waiting for crypto to expand for you, I think many of you need to be doing a much deeper dive into money. And I know some of you are already saying, you know, where are you going with this, Jay? Here's where I'm going with this. I'm going to ask for a little bit of class participation. But before I do, I'm going to say to you this. I'm going to make a couple of statements. As I make these statements, I want it to be known I am not trying to piss you guys off. I'm not trying to make anybody mad today. I'm trying to make you think. I'm trying to make you go away from this session that we shared together and have a little bit deeper conversation with yourself about money. So don't get pissed off, don't get offended. And if you do get mad, don't go away mad, just go away, because it's not your time. Okay? Here's what I'll say to you. I have heard a lot of people in this group. This group is made up of a lot of people, but in this group, we have hedge fund managers in this group. We have multiple classes of doctors in this group, from pharmacists to guys that have full-blown chains of chiropractic services. We have a brain surgeon in here I know of. We have some really smart people. We have some PhDs in here. I've heard people in here say, man, if I could just make $1 million, I'd be good. You know, I'd be good. Thumbs up. I'd be good. Peace sign. Right? Can I just make a general statement to you? People that think $1 million is a lot of money don't know anything about money. People that think $5 million is a lot of money, they don't know anything about money. Nothing. Zero. Goose egg. And here's the thing. When people don't know anything about money, they shouldn't be saying anything about money either. When you know you don't know anything about it, you should keep your mouth shut and go learn about money. Now, by way of proof, let's just prove that theory, okay? I'm going to go here to the questions. And by way of class participation, everybody that's all, warmed up to your keyboard, and don't be bashful, guys. I won't be calling names here. I'm here to, again, make some points to get you thinking. That's what this is about. This is not to embarrass somebody. This is to not make anybody feel inferior, okay? Here's my question. When COVID hit and the whole world started printing money, not just the Fed, but everybody, how much money did the Fed print? How much money did the Fed print? Not the whole world, just the Fed for the United States. Don't give me trillions. We know trillions. How many trillions did they print? All right. So I've got 5, I've got 2, I've got 2 to 3, I've got 6, I've got 7, I've got 13 trillion, I've got 31 trillion, 8 trillion, 5 trillion, 2.6 question mark, 33 trillion, says Desiree. 20T, 100 trillion, 20 trillion, 3.4 trillion, 10, 6, 21, 23, 144. Are you guys guessing? Does anybody actually know? Does anybody know? If you think your guess is a no, put that back in. All right. So we have some guesses. We have some guesses. Did them printing this money create inflation? J-Fly says no. David, no. Igor, no. Yes. Yes, yes. Don't recall for sure. I know at one time. Yes, yes, no. Well, it didn't help. Fuel to the fire. Absolutely, yes. No, but it will. My guess is yes. Added to it. All right. So look, you can print all the money you want to. That does not create inflation. Yeah, but everybody on TV says the Fed printed money and it created inflation. No. The Fed can print all the money they want to. They can store it up in a vault, and it doesn't create any inflation. But in fact, what happened here was they mailed out money to everyone, and all those people went and bought stuff. So even when they mailed the money out, it didn't create inflation. Did not create the distribution of the money to the people didn't create inflation. The people going and buying stuff created inflation. Okay. So you can distribute $7 trillion. You can send it out, but until that money goes in the system, it doesn't create inflation. Now, when this money got printed, did people buy stuff? Did they buy stuff? Yeah, they bought stuff. I mean, everyone ran and bought a house. And they didn't pay cash for it. Everybody went and bought new cars. Every other car had a 30-day tag on it for a year. Did you guys notice that? Now watch this. So let's just say the number was, as a round number, $7 trillion. 133 and 144 and all that stuff was not exactly what they printed, okay? However, let's just say it was 7 trillion. They printed it, distributed it, it went into the system. You don't have to tell me if you got paid on this. I did not get paid. I didn't receive any checks from the government. I'm not in their system. I don't want their money. Doesn't matter. This is not an ego ploy. Here's my question. Let's just say all of you got a check from the government. Let's just say you did. And again, doesn't matter. What did you do with your check? By way of hands, what did you do with your check? When you got your check, what'd you do with it? When you got your PPE money because you were a small business, what did you do with it? Someone says pay bills, bought crypto, bills, paid bills. All right, to do all those things, what did you have to do with the check? Before you could pay bills, before you could buy crypto, what did you have to do with the physical check? Someone says cash it. The one I'm looking for is deposit it. J-Fly, ding, ding, ding. He says deposit. Did Tam says deposit. Deposit. Remo says deposit. Susan, deposit, deposit. Gabriel, David, thank you. You had to put it in a bank. You had to put it in a bank. $7 trillion. Had to make its way into the bank, didn't it? What does a bank do when they get a deposit? What does a bank do? When they get your deposit, you got PPE money of $200,000 because you run a successful, I don't know, pharmacy. You got 200 grand. You went and put it in the bank. What do they do with it? Ding, 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 ding. They lend it out times 10. Used to be times 9, and they called that fractional banking. They had to keep 10%. They could loan 90%. Well, they could loan 9 times, okay? Now they can do it all. So if they can loan 10 times 7 trillion, how much money hit the system? How much money hit the system if we got $7 trillion? How much money actually went into the system when everybody bought a house? Everybody bought a house. Maybe you guys didn't. Maybe some of you didn't. Everybody bought a house. Everybody bought a car. They went to the bank and got a loan for a car. They got a loan for a business. They got a loan for an airplane. They got a loan for a house. Do you see what I mean when I say people that think $1 million is a lot of money don't know anything about money? And most people don't know anything about money. Most people are running around on the TV, even on the TV, they go through a makeup booth. They come to work with a nice, fresh, starched suit that the employer buys for them as part of their package. They go through a makeup booth and they come in front of a camera and they talk to your head. That's why they're called talking heads. They talk to your head. They program your head to believe we have inflation. Guys, the price of everything is down. The price of everything is going down. The price of oil is down. The price of multi-million-dollar homes is down. In some areas, the price of regular real estate has dropped 40%. Do we have inflation? I don't think we have inflation. And on top of not having inflation, when they tell you that, you know, 50% of all the money ever printed was printed just last year, that number's not the right number. Yeah, they're telling you about what's printed, but again, we've already determined in this conversation together, what's printed does not matter. Do we care how much is printed? No. You can print it and, you know, stack it in a building and it does nothing to the economy. Zero. You can print it and send it out. Does nothing to the economy. All those people take it and go buy stuff, and you see inflation. That's where your inflation comes from. And in this scenario, when it was loaned times 10, and prices are still down. Prices are still down, guys. So I've kind of said to you, George, can you hear me okay?
Yep, I can.
All right, because my internet's fading here, kind of coming and going.
Oh, you didn't drop off.
I'm gonna see if I can get that better. Why don't you take a question or two up top, and I'll come right back.
Okay, let me see. We're going back to the top. Let's see. A lot of good mornings. Good morning, good morning. Dear Jay and George, hold on. Okay, that one is not for me. Not for me. Well, hello everybody. Are you this morning? Okay, good morning. There is nothing for me at the moment. So I'm just going to thank you, Gabriel. It says, "Hey George, your intro info's been on fire." Yeah, you know what? I spend about 3/4 of a day trying to get and info to you. And it's funny, a lot of the time I'm just doing research, see what might be helpful to everybody. And I find these little nuggets along the way, and I have two that I'm working on, but I have not had enough time to work on so I could bring them out to everybody. Our son is going to school next week, and that will free up a lot more time for me, and hopefully we'll bring some things to the table this fall, because the yellow sticky sheet has not really been added to probably in the last 3 months, but there's a couple things that I want to add. But as usual, before I bring it out to everybody, I really like to test it. I like to see what the reviews are. I like to see what the pluses and minuses before I want to say, yeah, this is what I recommend. So Jay, are you back?
Yeah, I've switched my network here. Should be a little better now.
Okay.
So
There
thank
you
you for
go.
that, George.
You're welcome.
So guys, that's just a little example of how most people think about money, and they think all wrong. They think all wrong. And I told you guys this before they printed that amount of money. I said to you, there's a marketplace above the marketplace. You're seeing a number that they're giving you, same talking heads, and they're saying $130 trillion is the global GDP. Global GDP. Not one person in the talking head has come out and laid this out for you to even think about. And because most people are not free thinkers, most people are spending 40, 50, 60 hours a week, sometimes now 70 hours a week, giving their brain to someone else to create dollar bills. And I get it. I've done that too. I've done that in my lifetime. I've given businesses I owned 100 hours a week, and there was nothing left. And so you don't get a chance to sit there and think about something. You don't get a chance to have your brain back for creativity. And that's what I'm telling you guys. I want you to be a group of people, for those of you that choose to be, that are far more educated and far more informed about things that matter. And that's why I decided today we're going to do a little money talk. I'm here to tell you, I am personally involved. I am personally involved with some very, very, very high up large groups of people. phone calls recently at levels. I'm not gonna say what they are here on this live stream, because while that would certainly make me look good and that would certainly make you go, wow, I will just tell you, sometimes it blows my mind with the people I'm on the phone with. In fact, I will do this, because do you guys know George does not lie? Do you guys know George doesn't lie? Can I get an amen? George is not a thief, he's not a liar, and he's not a cheat. He's a fantastic partner for those reasons. George, would you claim the same things about me?
Yep.
Okay, so since George doesn't lie, and you guys know that, I'm going to send you something, George. Now, George, when I send you this, I don't want you to spout it out or anything, because I'm just going to ask you some questions about it.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute, that's not George. Got to get to George first.
Or the right George. And by the way, Bud Fox is standing by.
Okay, cool. We got him online with us here.
Yeah, I think he can Okay, I got something from you.
Open that up, George, and I'm going to ask you some questions about it.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to tell you guys a couple things. That's a MetaMask wallet that I recently created because I'm doing some work for a firm. This firm has securitized their entire business. The commissions I'll be making here will be in the tens of millions of dollars. In fact, that's actually already commenced. George, that wallet, this is a wallet I created. Does that wallet, George, have over $10 million in it?
Yes.
Does that wallet have over 100 million?
It does.
Does it have over 200 million?
Absolutely.
Does it have over 400 million?
It does.
All right, we'll stop there, because I'm not going to go all the way up and give it away. I'm telling you guys, there is a market that is not, the information is not distributed to the everyday Joe. And in that market, there are pieces of business done where $1 billion is no big deal. No big deal. Oh, yeah, okay, billion, yeah, we'll send that right over. $1 billion is no big deal. And here we have folks here in this group that go, if I can just make $1 million, man, I'll be good to go. I want you to know today, guys, I want to speak some truth to you. You can't make $1 million and be good to go. You just can't. I'm fixing to pay $1 million to PricewaterhouseCoopers for some help. You can't make $1 million and be okay. Okay? They're going to print money and inject it into the system again. When that money goes in the system, the bank's going to lend it at 10 times again. And they're going to lie to you about every economic piece of data they've ever given you. Why does this matter so much today? Here's why it matters. It matters because you have an opportunity here in crypto to grow your wealth at a level greater than anything that's been seen in your lifetime. Okay? I'm an all-in kind of guy. I'm also the kind of guy that I make sacrifices. It doesn't matter at what level you make a sacrifice. If you're let's just say as an example, most people would look at me and they would say, yeah, he's probably pretty rich. And they're right, I am. But they would make that assessment based on, well, he's flying private, that's not cheap. He travels all over. When he travels, he doesn't look at the price of anything. They would make their assessment based on data. At the same time, at my level, at my own level, I have things that I've been privy enough to participate in and get in the doors of that I myself will still look at my overall finances and go, okay, I was thinking about doing that, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to delay that. I'm going to have delayed gratification on that. And I'm going to choose to put that money over here and make a decision instead of a B decision. Now, let me break that down to a common man terminology. Why? Why can you do that, Jay? Because in my life, I've been a common man for most of it. For most of it, I traded hours for dollars. So this is what I mean, and this is what I'm trying to tell you. I said to you guys earlier today when we opened up the live stream, you're probably going to get to buy a lot more crypto between now and say April than you have today. But do you know what people here will do? They'll make a B decision. They'll go, you know, I've always wanted to take the grandkids to Disney. And I know that's $10,000, but you know what? It's a memory and you can't get it back. And I'm doing it. I'm not buying crypto. I'm putting 10,000 into a Disney trip for the grandkids. We're just going to do it. We've decided to do it. I've always wanted that convertible. I'm getting that convertible. Besides, I have enough crypto. I'm guilty of making that claim. I personally am guilty of making the claim that I have enough crypto. But now what's going on in my life is money is starting to pile up. And as money piles up, you know what? Money never sleeps. It's forcing my brain to expand. Just like some of you listening to my voice right now, your brain just got expanded. You went, hey, I never thought about that. 10 times the money went in the bank and the bank didn't nothing but turn around and lend it out. So what really went in the system? Yeah, a lot more. Think about that. If they're telling us, this is so stupid. If they're telling us we have $130 trillion global GDP for the globe, and just in one country, they push 10 times 7 trillion into the system through all kinds of avenues, by the way, for all different kinds of things. Look, there was not an industry that was not off the hook. There was not an industry that was not off the hook. During this time of money expansion, you could not buy a jet on this planet anywhere. And if you were buying one, you were paying $5 to $10 million premium to buy it. So when people buy a jet, most of those people have an asset that will pay for the jet, so they don't just chunk $103 million down and buy global 7,500. They go put 10 million down and borrow the money. And then, by the way, the $10 million gets re-lent out times 10 after they've borrowed the money. So all I'm telling you is it's such a freaking joke for us to be thinking they're telling us the truth. They're not telling you the truth. All of this leads back to what I've been trying to tell you guys, and that is I sit around at times and I listen to people that are a little bit further down the line than I am. They've got 600 million, they've got 2.5 billion, they've got 50 billion. I was on the phone the other day with someone who has $1 trillion plus, $1 trillion with a T. And when I listen to those people, all of them are in the mode of still producing money. They're all still in the mode of money never sleeps, the money's got to make money, blah, blah, blah. And many of them, even at those levels, they're still doing something 50, 60, 70 hours a week, only they're doing it at scale. And so they no longer create, $1 million a year. They create $1 million by lunchtime every day. And here's the thing. If a person creates $1 million, because what a lot of these folks do, they get into revenue streams that run 24 hours a day. Let's just say, for example, me. Let's say I move into assets that are paying me around the clock. If I'm earning more sleeping till noon every day than you earn all year, each one of you, no matter how much that is, would it be a fair assessment to say one of us is stupid and it's not me? That's how I want you to open your mind to think to. Guys, crypto is not the only way that money from this universe can make it into your wallet, into your bank account, into your portfolio. You guys know about the time that I started saying, money comes to me in great abundance and it comes as effortless as grass growing. Those types of things are taking place right now. But for how long did I have to say it? For how long did I have to meditate on it? For how long did that have to go to get that to scale? First of all, I don't know that exact answer, and I do not care. What I knew was get started and it will build. Kind of like build it and they will come. Build it up in your mind and it will come. Okay? But guys, you have to get past the idea that $1 million is going to be a lot of money. Now look, $1 million is a lot of money. And if you have a nationally average home of $380,000 and it's paid for, and you've got brand new cars with 10-year warranties on them in the driveway, and you've got $1 million, you can probably make that last 10 or 15 years and live an okay life, have your brain back, all that stuff. You can do that. But who have you helped? Who have you helped? And I'm not saying there's a mandate on humans to help someone else. I don't believe that. I don't believe there's a mandate that you've got to give money to a church, because if you don't, the people that God wanted to get saved aren't going to get saved. I'm not in that camp. Used to be, but I wasn't a free thinker then. I wasn't as wise as I am today. I didn't have as much, I was not as spiritual of a person at that time. Look, guys, I believe in a God, and I believe that God can do anything that God wants to do. So all I'm saying to you is, you haven't done a whole lot for those around you if all you worried about was making sure you and yours had your million, your stuff's paid for, and you went bass fishing every afternoon. Never been so bored in my life as to go bass fishing. So I do believe that most humans have something inside themselves where if they could, they would lend a helping hand, not to just anybody, but to people that are really kind of down on their luck. And where my heart goes out at this point in my life is for people that cannot reinvent themselves. It's not the 22-year-old that just got kicked out of his apartment. I'm not helping that kid. I'm not helping that kid. I'm not helping the 28-year-old who just got his car picked up by the bank. No, thank you. That person needs to go through some of those lessons to become the person they're going to become in their 30s. But the guy who's 72 and maybe he's down to his last 10 years of life, last 15 years of life, and he's living in a 1-bedroom apartment, and he's got an old wore out car, and he's still working full time because the government promised him a system where if you'll pay in for all these years, you're going to be good to go. You'll be living the American dream. Yeah, the American dream's paying him $1,300 a month. I don't know how you buy groceries at $1,300 a month. You got to have a PhD just to figure out how to buy groceries with $1,300 a month. You better have a PhD. You better have one, because you're going to have some brains to make that last all month. I can't buy supplements for $1,300 a month. And on this planet, you better have some supplements because your food don't have anything in it unless you're growing it yourself. And you know what's in it. But it looks beautiful in the store and it's called organic on the thing, but it was grown in the same field for 15 years, which used to have chemicals in it and has a half-life of 50 years, those chemicals. I mean, we can go down a million rabbit trails. But that's what I'm saying to you. Most humans, they want to help. They want to be helpful. It gives me great joy. From time to time, I talk to one of the people that my wife and I purchased a home for. Actually, in reality, quite a few of the people that we talk to, this comes up, that we purchased a home for, who some of them didn't even have a home. Some of them had a cracker box home in the worst side of town. Like, you know, let's almost put some bars on the window to make sure we're good, right? That kind of thing. Now they live in a rural setting, fantastic neighborhoods, brick homes. You can leave your doors unlocked at night and it wouldn't be the end of the world. You can leave your car sitting outside and it's not going to be vandalized, right? But some of those people, my wife and I will talk to them and the smallest little thing will come up. And by the way, we never mention it. We never mention it. We checked it off of a list as something we felt in our hearts to do, and we did it, and we checked it off a list, and we haven't really thought about it since. We're on to checking off more things on our list that we want to do that are fantastic, that make a difference in someone's life. But we'll be talking to those folks, and they will burst out in tears and can't believe the way they're living today from the way they were living, or maybe the way they viewed the scope of their future. Some of those people were going, man, I don't know if I'm going to actually have enough money to live all of my days. What am I going to do? Whatever will I do? Well, when you buy them a house and a car and you fill their bank account up with money, they can go, oh, man, wow, that's a relief. That feels better. Or if you have a neighbor down the road and their house burns down, you don't have to go to Africa, guys. You don't have to go very far at all to find people who have it way worse than you do. I just don't want to be caught in a situation where I'm an enabler. That I'm not going to do. So I guess what I'm saying to you is that's a long way of saying, yeah, you could probably get by on $1 million and do, live for 10 years or 15 years or whatever, and live a normal basic life with basic transportation, basic in all those ways, and you'd be free. That's for sure. You'd be free. But you haven't really done anything in your life, and you've certainly not done anything in the lives of others. And I think there's a basic desire inside of most people to want to do something for someone else. Maybe that for someone else is a family member. It doesn't have to be, as I say, someone who was born on rotten soil in Africa. It doesn't have to be that. Look, if you go and study karma, everything happening is happening for a reason. If you're born in America where it was free and you've had the ability to do something amazing with your life, certainly with struggles, guess what? You did something damn good in your last lifetime. If you're born in the furthest tip of Africa where there's no water and there's no good food, and your lifespan might be that of about 11 years, you probably didn't have a great lifetime the last lifetime. You probably you probably put out some massive karma. And here you come along with all your money and you're going to fix that person's life. And now you have entanglement, karmic entanglement, which my wife's been teaching me about a lot this year. Karmic entanglement. And see here, you thought you were being a do-gooder. You thought you were going to go change the world, feed the hungry, and get water to the ones that don't have water. There are ways to give and ways to be helpful where you don't have to create that entanglement. And as I say before, and I'll continue to say, you really don't have to look very far to find people that have it way, way, way worse than you do. You don't even have to, most of you don't even have to go more than a 20-mile radius around your neighborhood. And you can find people that are in a really bad, outside of their control. You know, every corner has homeless people on it these days. They chose that too. When I see somebody being massively abused, whether that's physical, sexual, emotional, whatever, I can't help but think to myself, wow, what was their last lifetime like? What kind of karma did they put out that they're now reaping that reward, so to speak? And that includes me, guys. You know, that includes a person who came through half of this lifetime with a fair amount of abuse. And I weep from time to time thinking about what I must have done as a human in another life to deserve that in this life. And I feel shame. Nothing that holds me back. It's a healing process. It's an evolution of your soul. So I don't mean it in a way where, oh, it's going to put a block on this life. No way. I'm charging through it. I'm becoming a better person. And money is just a tool. That's all. And look, if you're a pipe and water runs through you, does the pipe get wet? Of course it gets wet. I want to be a vessel that money flows through. Now, some of that money is going to stick to me. I'm going to have this jet and this place and that place and this experience that it takes a lot of money to have that experience. But along the way, the money will get where it goes to. I'll still be the vessel. Why? Because I don't care. I don't care to have the bragging rights of being in the Forbes magazine and saying, I accumulated this much money. Like, I think one of the coolest things we've ever witnessed in our lifetimes was a guy who's worth a couple of $100 billion who doesn't own a home. He's not buying mansions on every hill. He's not buying yachts. You know what he does? He says, this might be important for free speech. I think I'll buy Twitter to make sure we can at least put a nail in the coffin to have free speech. I think it's one of the coolest things we've ever witnessed. Talk about a $44 billion step for humanity. Because guys, look, we've only got the right to bear arms and free speech. That's what we have left. The rest of the document has been gutted. You lose free speech and you're out. You now are basically headed towards becoming a completely communistic nation, one you won't want to live in, and you'll say, oh, I don't know where to go. Where do I go from here? One of the coolest things we've ever witnessed. I don't care whether you like him or not. I'm not crazy about the guy. I like listening to him because I learn something every time I listen to him. I don't even know who he is behind a closed door. So I don't make those type of judgments and go, ooh, I just love Elon Musk. I just love Elon Musk. No, I don't do that. That's immaturity. I admire some of the things he's doing. That's what I do. And I really don't know him. I know a little bit about him based on what he's doing out in the public. So all I'm saying is this, and this takes us kind of full circle on this conversation, and we'll go to your questions. Guys, you have an opportunity. And as the bulk of you still working a job, still doing something, trading hours for dollars, still trying to find that way to get beyond. Okay? This is what I said earlier about the common man. That was me. Most of my life was spent as a common man. Yeah, I've always done good, but a common man. Never fabulous, never fantastical from a monetary perspective. You know what? What I would do if I was a common man today? I would sit down and I would lay out my budget. And I would go, gee, I make $250,000 every single year. By the way, if you're in the top 1%, you got to make $924,000 a year to be in the top 1% income earners. So if you make $250,000 and you think you're a badass, you're not really a badass. You got to make $924,000 every year to be in the top 1% income producing bracket. But you say, well, I'll make $250,000, my house is paid for, I got a pretty cushy life, I'm doing all the things I want to do. I get to go to the lake when I want to go to the lake. I get to go on vacation when I go on vacation. Living below my means. Okay, great. Sit down, do a budget. This is what I would be doing if I was in your shoes. Thinking about money the way I'm thinking about it right now. Realizing some things every day as the brain expands. This is what I'd be doing. I'd be going, what am I chunking money out at that's necessary and what's not necessary? Oh, okay. So out of my $20,000 a month, I've got $5,000 a month of expendable income. There's a lot of things you can go put $5,000 into every month. For me personally, I wouldn't be buying real estate. I wouldn't be buying ARK investment. I wouldn't be buying gold and silver. I would make an investment in the fastest horse in the race. I mean, it's all a risk. There's none of it's not a risk. The only time you can make an investment and there's no risk involved is when you invest in the number one thing you can invest in, and that's yourself. And there's no risk in that. The rest of it has risk. Your government can take your gold and silver. ARK Invest can fail. Crypto can go to zero. Someone can pass a law and it goes to nothing. It's all a risk. But if it's all a risk, why not invest in the fastest freaking horse in the race? And look, by doing that, guys, you give yourself the massive amount of leverage you need to get ahead of 7 trillion being dispersed to the banks so that the banks can loan 70 trillion. And all of a sudden the price of homes double. The price of automobiles are $30,000 above the book. Even to this day, right now, Cadillac Escalades are selling for $20,000 over the book. Dealers, you call them up and say, hey, I see you got this new one in. It's exactly the color I want. Yeah, but the first thing we want to tell you is we just want you to know right off the bat, we are selling that for $20,000 above MSRP. Oh, okay, thanks, click. And you call another one and you find someone who's not doing that. To this day, that's happening. So give yourself the leverage. Guys, here's an example of leverage, okay? Here's your example of leverage. One you can take with you and always remember, okay? Everybody's trading hours for dollars to make dollars. What I'm suggesting to you is to change your mindset to a place where you're not locked in a box thinking you have to trade hours for dollars, even at scale. Look at Patrick Bet-David. He's running 9 companies. He's trading hours for dollars, but he's doing it at scale and making millions. Good for him. What I want to do is spend 10 days with my wife. And I want to create my future on a spiritual note. I know a lot of people aren't into that. No problem. I don't care. I'm radical. I'm okay being radical. I'm not trying to impress anybody. I'm not trying to gain new friends. I don't want or need any new friends. A lot of times friends coming in your life new, all they do is create heartache anyway. Can I get an amen? Now I'm going to preach at you. So here's your leverage. You're in crypto. Crypto can go up 10, 20, 30x every time it goes. There's going to be 1 or 2 that you're involved in that are the newest kids on the block that go 100x. Fantastic. That's leverage. Did you have to do anything for it? Did you have to go toil behind a hoe? No. Did you have to get in your car and drive 100,000 miles? No. Did you have to go on Sundays to Georgia so you could be there first thing on Monday morning and analyze budgets? No. The guy who works for Coca-Cola as the CEO, last year he made $60 million going to Georgia and analyzing budgets, putting 100,000 miles in an airplane. Yeah, but he made 60 million. Okay, great. Warren Buffett made an investment in Coca-Cola a long time ago, and last year he made 600 million in a dividend. Did he go analyze budgets? Nope. Did he put 100,000 miles in an airplane or on a car? Nope. What did he do? He leveraged. What I'm telling you guys is you have the ability to leverage your life in crypto. And I said to you earlier, I'm an all-in kind of guy. Meaning I'm going to invest. I'm going to invest. I'm going to continue to invest. But in my way of thinking, as long as we have a really fast horse in the race, I'm not even looking at other horses. I'm just looking at this horse. Why? Because it gives me the ability to put a lot of money in and take 600 million out as a dividend. That's leverage. The guy who made 60 million, man, he's on the front cover of a magazine. He's this, he's that, whatever. God bless him. But he had to go do something away from his family, away from those he loves, sometimes when it's inconvenient, sometimes when it's hard, sometimes when he's pulling his hair out. He has to deal with all kinds of people every day that he doesn't want to deal with. And you know what he'd rather do? He'd rather not shave that day. He'd rather put on a pair of sweatpants and make a cup of tea and sit out on the balcony and look out over the water and watch the sun come up. And think about something far more important than going and chasing $60 million. But because he doesn't have the leverage of Warren Buffett, he can't do that. He's got to keep performing. You guys have the ultimate leverage to rise from the common man, to rise from the guy who's been an entrepreneur your whole life, making your own way, depending on no one. And it's right here in front of you. I personally would set a budget and I would figure out what are the things in my life what are the things that I must have? What are the things that I can do without? Well, I go to Starbucks 10 times a month. Oh, okay. That's $60. Man, $60 buys a lot of H-bar. It doesn't matter when you get set free, just that you get set free. So you might have to wait a minute on H-bar, but it'll happen. And while you're waiting, every month, convert Starbucks into H-bar. Every month, convert going out for a $200 family meal. Yeah, but those are memories. Okay, great. Have the memories. Practice a little delayed gratification. Become a centimillionaire. Become a decamillionaire. And then go and take your family for breakfast at a Michelin star restaurant looking out over the water. And create a memory you can't create going to K&W every Sunday after church. That's all I'm saying. Okay, guys, we're going to go to your questions. That was a little bit of attitude today and a little bit of a talk about money, a little bit of a variance away from charting. I'm not going to start at the top because apparently there's not too many videos or not too many questions at the top. I'm going to start with at the bottom. So put your questions in at the bottom for me or George, and we'll go through those. Looks like some people liked our talk today here. That's good. I'm glad you did. I enjoyed it as well. Have we got Bud with us, George?
You know, he was, and then it says Bud Fox offline. And I just contacted him on Signal, so we'll see. I'm not sure where he is, but he said he was willing to do it, but it shows him just offline at this moment. Let me see if I can get him back.
Okay. I just had a couple questions for him because he was a money manager for a long time.
Oh, it looks like he's back online. Let's see if I can get him.
Yeah, see if you can
Unmute.
unmute his mic.
Bud, you are unmuted. You just have to do all the magic on your side of things. I'm waving a wand. Let's see if magic happens. Oh, there we go. Hey, Bud.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, guys. Hi.
How we doing, Bud?
Yeah, hi. Jay, that was wonderful to just hear you go through that dialogue and make us all think, of the wonderful futures we all have. So thank you for that.
Oh, no worries, mate. No worries. My goal is to come here on a weekly basis. From time to time, I'll put a video out about charting or some coin I'm buying or something's happening or whatever. But our main meat and potatoes is this live stream. And I want the live stream to have value to people. When they come and they hear, I want it to be something that they can walk away with. And for a week, they're still remembering that. They're still applying that to their life. And so I appreciate your accolades of what you just said, that it was wonderful. Bud, tell me what you used to do for a living, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. I used to trade, was it pound sterling for hours and work in asset management for many, many years in the city of London.
In the city of London.
Yeah. And then basically, as my salary increased, my happiness index decreased to the point where I was becoming quite unhappy. So, yeah, I changed that. I changed the trajectory of the.
So the guy that's the CEO of Coke making 60 million, he's got just a bad job that pays a lot of money, doesn't he?
Yeah, you realize your own time, it just gets taken up by, there's always someone above you in the food chain and telling you what to do, where to, and for us, I'm sure many of us here in the binge team, being told what to do is just a tough pill to swallow. You just want to be in charge of your own life. And I think the only way you can do that is being free from the kind of corporate ladder.
Amen. Now, Bud, did you wear a suit to work?
I did, yeah, nice pinstripe suit.
Nice pinstripe suit. You had important meetings. You probably went places on the company dime doing things that your job called for, yeah?
Look, there were some nice things, flying business class with Virgin next to some celebrities was really a treat. But yeah, it was lots of fine dining and business meetings that make you feel important. Even my office was overlooking the Queen, which I used to boast about. All of it immaterial now, though.
Overlooking the castle? Are we talking about? What are we talking about?
Yeah, yeah, I was overlooking Buckingham Palace.
The palace. Now, I have a couple questions for you. Which is better, the bench team or doing what you used to do?
Well, that's a trick question, Jay. I mean, of course, the binge team. I've been here for 6 years.
Are you going to say to me, does a bear shit in the woods? Is that what you're going to tell me?
Hey, that's a pound. That's $1 for the tip jar, isn't it, George? The swear jar.
I'll pay that one.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. Tell me which is better.
Oh, of course, the binge team, Jay. I mean, that goes without saying.
Yeah, having time and money. Not just time, not just money, but time and money. Big income, no job. Hinge team, huge income, no job. And have you done some things this year, on the binge team that you probably would have never done if you were still looking over Buckingham Palace?
Well, I'm doing it right now, Jay. Like we're just about to set off. I'm quite happy to say that we're in Indonesia. So anyone in the group here that wants to feel and live like a king, you can live like a king over here. We're actually staying in a museum that doubles up as a hotel. So as you walk around, you go past all this artwork, and it's just the most amazing place. It's in a place called Malang in East Java. And then we're going to get a 4x4 and take off to, I think I shared this with George. We're going to this volcano that has these sulfur emissions, and it turns this thing into some kind of alien blue volcano. And it's incredible. And Mother Nature is absolutely phenomenal. Yesterday, we were at somewhere called the Thousand Waterfalls, and literally there were this big valley with what looked like 1,000 waterfalls coming down, and you spend a day trekking down. So yes, I would say, freedom. But of course, there's other things which you talked about today, Jay, which kind of reminded me of. We're trying to give back while we're over here as well, because the poverty levels are just through the roof. It makes you very, very grateful for the lives we have in the West. For example, there's a guy who should be retired here. He's 80 and he's out there riding a bike, trying to, transport people on his tuk-tuk. We're just giving him. I just basically did something for him, and it was just lovely to to see these people. See some kindness from Westerners rather than us looking down on them.
Yeah, amen to that. There's
guess what? It's also it's also Independence Day over here today.
Wow.
They've got fireworks, and we've just seen a load of troops marching, and they're celebrating their Independence Day.
Now, do you mind me asking how long you've been there?
Oh, just so far a week, so not too long. But we're here we're probably going to stay for a month.
Wait a minute. You don't get to stay for a month when you have an office looking over Buckingham Palace. Oh, wait a minute. You don't do that anymore. You don't do that anymore. How fantastic.
Well, I'm sure, I know that, George, you were thinking of giving the floor to others, so I don't want to take up too much time, but I can certainly say that, there is obviously different levels to living on the binge team, but the freedom in your heart to kind of do these things. And I realized that it really isn't for everybody. There's a lot of people, in my circle that couldn't believe, that we would just take off without having anywhere booked, that we would travel and, rely on the universe is just delivering. I'm asking, the universe for basically our itinerary, and it delivers. You wouldn't believe, like, these people come into our lives, and just yesterday I met somebody who's arranged our whole tour around the volcanoes. So yeah, it's wonderful. Really, really do believe in the universe.
Amen.
Amen to that.
Amen. Let me ask you this, Bud. I know you said you didn't want to take too much time, and that's fine. What I wanted to ask you is, when I was talking about there being a system above the system, there being way more money than we're being told, when you were an asset manager and you were working within a big fund and you looked out over Buckingham Palace, did you ever witness any of that? And I don't know how you're going to answer this. You may tell me, no, I never saw any of that. You may tell me, yeah, we saw it all the time. The system you think it is. I don't know how you're going to answer, but did you see any of that? Did you see a system that was much bigger than what we're led to believe?
No, of course not. Absolutely not. No. You met some incredibly wealthy people. Like, I'd had a meeting with a guy called Bernard Cazenove, who run the Queen stockbroker, and you could tell he, had a lot of money. But that's not anything to do with the market above the market. No, there was no sign of, our biggest clients were pension funds, and they were in the sort of multi-billion-pound bracket for us, but nothing like you're talking about. No.
Yeah. Okay. I just wondered if you saw that. Well, listen, I know this is not your first trip this year. This is probably your third or fourth or fifth trip this year, because I know of a couple where you sent some over. And I am so excited for you and your family to be living the dream, not the American dream, but the dream of freedom. And that freedom being where you have time and money, not just time, not just money. And you can, if you want to choose to go live for a month somewhere else, you do that. I've done that a lot this year. I'm doing that right now as well. And I'm just excited for you. And I know there's other people that are on that same team. George, did you have some other people that you wanted me to hear from?
Okay, guys, if you want to hear the rest of that talk, and it got really juicy, please come and join our community. Our community, by the way, is called the Binge Team. Big income, no job, the Binge Team. It's a rather large community after 6 years of us going here in the crypto space. That's all we do is crypto. And we'd love to have you as a new member. As I said, we are 40% off this month. Please go ahead and click on the link below, or just go to cryptoj.net, and become our newest member of the Binge Team. I promise you this, you will not be sorry you did. We've never really had anyone who was sorry they joined our team. We've had a lot of people who joined the team, got a tremendous education, as I said, with over 2,000 videos available to you. We also have another website that has modules on it, boot camps, all the above. We can show you all those things. But we'd love to have you on the Binge Team. We'd love to have you here in the next bull market. Come join us, guys. We're having a lot of fun.